Good evening. Going to call to order the Delaware Township Planning Board meeting. It's Tuesday, February 3rd, 2026 at 7:30 p.m. I'm going to start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next is the notice statement. Notice requirements called for in the open public meeting that have been satisfied. Said notice was transmitted to the Times of Trenton and Star Ledger. Said notice was posted in the Delaware Township Municipal Building Department, the Township Clerk, all on January 14, 2026. Roll call.
Mayor Walton.
Here.
McDaniel.
Here.
Herman.
Here.
Miller. Coffee. Wright.
Here.
Bogey.
Here.
Jeanette.
Here.
Gilbert.
Here.
Vice Chair Gao.
Here.
And Chairperson Marshall.
Here. Okay. Next, board professionals in attendance. We have Steve. We actually have Adam in lieu of Richard as our engineer. This is Steve. And Nick is here via the Zoom.
Evening, everyone.
Next item on the agenda are the minutes of the January 6th, 2026 meeting. Did everybody have an opportunity to review the minutes? Does anybody have any comments?
I have one correction. On page 4, Susanna, under liaison reports for Environmental Commission, we actually did meet. You have didn't meet, we did meet.
Oh, you didn't, okay.
Yeah, we just didn't have much business.
Okay, so everything in there is just.
Yeah, just did, yes. Thank you.
Any other comments? Excuse me, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll move the minutes.
Okay. You seconded?
Aye.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Abstain. Okay. Great. Those are approved. Next item, bill list, general non-escrow. We just had a couple for Parker McKay, invoice 3206912 from January 7, 2026, in the amount of $1313.50, and 3208088 from February 2nd, 2026, in the amount of $1,140. Is there a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Second? Okay, roll call please.
Mayor Walton.
Yes.
McDaniel.
Yes.
Herman.
Yes.
Coffee.
Yes.
Wright.
Yes.
Bogey.
Yes.
Jeanette.
Yes.
Gilbert.
Yes.
Vice Chair Gao.
Yes.
Chairperson.
Yes. Okay, next is escrow. Looks like we only have a couple, and they are both for the Overman property. So it's an escrow for Parker McKay, invoice number 3206993 from January 7, 2026, the amount of $160. Oh, I missed Collier's John, non-escrow, I'll go back to that. $166.50, and then also 3208089 from February 2nd, 2020. Is that 2026?
2023.
Okay. In the amount of $220. Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second. Okay. Roll call, please.
Mayor Walton.
Yes.
McDaniel.
Yes.
Herman.
Yes.
Coffee.
Yes.
Wright.
Yes.
Bogey.
Yes.
Jeanette.
Yes.
Gilbert.
Yes.
Vice Chair Gao.
Yes.
Chairperson Marshall.
Yes. And apologies, I'll go back to general non-escrow for Colliers for engineering and planning. We have invoice number 1141093 from February 2nd, 2026, the amount of $1,750. Is there a motion to approve?
No, that's from 2025.
2025, yes, but
Oh,
someone else is probably.
oh, okay. 2025, sorry about that.
2025.
In the amount of, $1,750. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right, roll call, please.
Mayor Long,
Yes.
McDaniel,
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Coffee,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Bolte,
Yes.
Jim S.
Yes.
George.
Yes.
Vice Chair Cap,
Yes.
Chairperson.
Yes. Okay, next item, correspondence, none. Next item, completeness review, none. Next item, we have application number 2025-09, Belinda Overman, 27 Blocktown School Road, Block 5, preliminary and final minor site plan and conditional use approval. Mr. Schultz.
Madam Chair, Mr. Mayor, members of the board, good evening. My name is Don Scholl. I'm an attorney in my office in Wellington, New Jersey. I represent the applicant, Belinda Overman. In addition to Ms. Overman, behind me, to my right is Barry, the applicant's engineer, and Mark Arrington, the applicant's architect. The Overman property that's subject of this application is in the A2 zone. It's 27 Blocktown School Road. It's lot 5 on the township tax map. It's a little over 42 acres. I'm going to address a matter that Mr. Goodell was kind enough to bring to our attention collectively this afternoon. And with Mr. Dickerson, Mr. Goodell and I had a chance to discuss it in coming here this evening. The application was deemed complete on November 18, and we're here on an amended application. We streamlined the application a little bit. The original application sought preliminary and final minor site plan approval and conditional use approval. The one nuance that we identified when we were noticing is a loft area proposed conversion of the existing barn to a residence. That accessory structure, and we looked at the ordinance, there was some language that discussed the elimination of guest quarters or housing that would arguably fit the loft area above the main floor area. When we took a more finite look at it, it appeared the application would fit within the permitted use section of your ordinance for a property that exceeds 30 acres. And you can have two principal uses, two primary uses on the lot. Subject to criteria which we believe we met, the only downside to Ms. Overman was that she would have to have a separate well and a separate septic and that expense associated with it. It appeared that we could meet all those criteria, amended the application, and we're proceeding this evening. Mr. Goodell was kind enough to analyze the back title, and he focused on one point pertaining to the resolution of approval. The resolution of approval discussed that after subdividing lots 5.01 and 5.02, that the remaining lot 5, again exceeding 40 acres, would not be subject to further subdivision or development. With regard to that section of the ordinance discussing development, we went to the ordinance definition.
So, Mr. Shaw, before you get into that, let me just explain exactly what's going on. This particular property came to the planning board in 2013. At that time, it was bigger, and they wanted to subdivide 2 lots off. This board granted them that approval, subdivision of 2 lots. The remainder property was it 50 acres?
42.5.
42 acres. That's the property that they want to develop now with a new house. So let's focus then on the 2013 resolution. It was part of the submissions, it's part of the application. The resolution went through all of the requirements for subdivision, found that the Overmans had met all of those requirements, also found that the remainder property would be reserved for farmland, and that it would not be further subdivided. However, there's one condition that sounds problematic. It's condition number 2. It says the applicant shall deed restrict lot 5, which is the lot we're talking about now, from further subdivision or development. The restriction shall be shown on the revised plats and in the deed for lot 5. So, what Mr. Scholl is going to address now is, what does that mean? When we said in 2013, a lot shall be restricted from further subdivision or development. Is this second house qualify as development? So, you might be barred by that resolution from 2013. So, that's the background. Now, you can tell us why that should be.
With that introduction, the ordinance definition of development is the division of a parcel into 2 or more parcels. It's not a subdivision. Don't have to deal with that. Or the construction, reconstruction, conversion, structural alteration, relocation, enlargement of any building or structure, any change of use in any building or structure. That has application here. The existing improvements on the property are an 1880s circa single-family home, not occupied, and an approved pole barn, which is going to be used for horses, and the subject improvement, which is the barn on the property. Not changing the outside walls, adding porch area, cupola, and some other improvements that Mr. Yarrington will testify to. We don't fall within any of the criteria of major development, but here's the point of focus. In the resolution of approval, it was noted in paragraph 1 that the subject property is in active agricultural use. It was additionally noted that the preservation of lot 5 would be reserved for agricultural use. It's Q assessed, it's farmland assessed, it's actively farmed, has been, and will continue to be. Why is it significant? When you look at that definition of development, we reviewed the first part. There's some issues there. The second part is what I draw your attention to and I highlight. In the case of development of agricultural lands, development means any activity that requires a state permit, not us. Any activity reviewed by the County Agricultural Board, not us. And the State Agricultural Development Committee, SADC, again, not us. And any municipal review of any activity not exempted by the Right to Farm Act, again, not us. So that's what I'm focusing on. That's the criteria that we applied to, and it was noted in the resolution multiple times, and the commitment of the applicant at that time. Back when that was pending, I was on the other side of the dais. Obviously wasn't aware of anything that was occurring there, didn't represent Ms. Overman, but as I'm looking at this and I'm putting these pieces together, that was the commitment of the applicant at that time, which was a further subdivision. And I'm going to maintain the agricultural use, which is exactly what she's done and exactly as I understand the intent of this ordinance. So we would fall within those parameters. Thank you to Mr. Goodell. He is as diligent and detailed as anybody I've met in my 4 years of practice. He's a credit to the position, and we are lucky to have him here. In highlighting this, I don't think we have an issue, but I wanted to highlight this and outline it for Mr. Goodell and also for Mr. Dickerson to see if there's any questions that they have. But I believe we could clearly fall under that second provision.
Can you just give me the citation for that provision?
It's the definition of development, and it's the second sentence.
So it's the definition of development in the ordinances.
That's correct. And then by cross-reference the provisions and findings of fact in the resolution of approval dating back to 2013.
Nick, do you have any questions about that?
Concerning the 2013 approval?
Yeah. And John's argument about development and the definition of development this situation.
Oh, because of is this concerning that condition that you highlighted, Steve, about, let me see. I was looking at my letter here, but I wanted to pull that up as well. So this is that condition about no further development?
Yeah.
Which one is that? That is, okay. No, I mean, I guess I assumed when in reviewing this that if necessary, I mean, would this application be able to amend? Like, I don't know how this came in. Would this be able to amend any of the conditions of prior approval?
I'll tell you what, why don't we just go through the proofs, and then we'll come back to it to see if this turns out to be an issue.
Okay.
Or- okay, go ahead.
Appreciate it. Madam Chair, with the permission, I would call Ms. Owen.
So, you just where you went. Just raise your right hand. You solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes,
Will you state your name and spell it for the record?
Belinda L. Oberon. To whom? What is it? Spell it.
Spell it so that Susanna can take it down.
B is in boy, E-L-I-N-D-A. L middle initial. Oberman, O-B is in Victor, E-R-M-A-N. Thank you. Thank you for staying here.
So, where do you reside?
40 Britain Road.
How long have you lived there?
33 years.
And are you the title owner of 27 Locktown Road, the subject property?
I am
And how long have you owned that property?
33 years. Since 92, whatever that is. Yes.
We're all getting
Yeah.
older. Unfortunately. Just very briefly, can you describe the improvements on that property and how the property has been maintained?
This property or
The 27 Locktown School Road property.
The improvements on the property, but there really hasn't been any other than the fact that I did tie back the barn that is there that I'd like to live in. I did the tie back to cover it up from the weather.
Let me clarify, by
Yeah.
improvements, what structural or building improvements are located on the property? Is there a single family residence on the property?
There's a single family residence, yes, that I tried, that I have no plans for. It is uninhabitable. And then there was this other barn structure.
And the single family residence is how large?
I'm sorry.
The single family residence is how large?
I believe that is a 4-bedroom residence that is there at the time.
And not habited.
No.
Now, let's focus on what this application pertains to and what we're seeking to do. There's an existing barn, correct?
Yes.
And do you have any photographs?
Yes, I
here?
do.
Maybe we could mark this as applicable exhibit number 1. It's a photo array.
All right, are these photos that were part of the application, or are these new?
No, they're illustrative
Okay.
for testimony.
Call this A1 photo array.
Okay. So this is the barn that I'm talking about. This is the front, the rear.
When you say this, because the record won't reflect that, if you could identify upper photos, right, left, middle photos, and so forth.
Upper photo left is the front. Upper photo right is the back, the rear. Middle photo on the left is the left side, and the right-sided photo in the middle is the right side. The bottom photo is a view from the beginning of the driveway, looking into what the road would see if you looked into the driveway, to what you see from the road. And the barn is way back there. There is a tree line there that, if the foliage is out, you can't see it at all. But so that's what the lower right-hand photo is that. And the left-hand photo on the bottom is the survey of the whole property, and it is circled where the barn sits on that survey of the property.
Were these photographs taken
They were.
Did they fairly and accurately depict the condition of the barn as we are
Oh, yes.
today discussing?
Absolutely, yes.
Now, there's some tieback on there, maybe just
Yes.
identify, you're not doing improvements now.
No, I just did that, we did that because to close it in from the elements. The roof had holes in it, what's roofing material? Shingles, thank you, had holes in it, so it was just to close that in and just put, plywood on the windows so that you just, to keep the weather out.
And just as a brief aside, there's been a site plan review committee that's been out to the property.
Yes.
to look at this.
Yes,
And I know they're better than weather forecasters, because each time this was scheduled for review, it
Yeah.
snowed.
yes, we got lucky, it was only 40 below zero when we went.
Yeah.
We read that morning.
Actually, 8
It
degrees.
didn't snow, right?
No, it did not snow.
That's our, thank you so much for
Thank
your
you.
perseverance.
Yes.
It's appreciated.
Yes.
So I'm gonna just leave that here for a moment. Can you identify for the board, what are your plans here with regard to this improvement in the property?
Well, where I live is my husband died a number of years ago, and I'm on my own, and the house that I'm living in at 40 Britt Road is gotten a little bit large, and I'm just trying to pare down and thinking of going here. I can go here.
Is the property actively farmed?
This property?
Correct.
Yes, it is. Charles Agulis is the farmer.
What is the agricultural use?
He does hay.
So he grows it and harvests it and
Yes.
sells it?
Yes.
And you hired an architect with regard to this
I
project?
did.
And, excellent, by the way.
Absolutely.
What is the plan here, if you could discuss it in lay terms with the board?
The plan was, in looking at the barn, was to do the whole bottom is like a parking thing, and it's one floor up, and then it's a Dutch roof line. I was gonna do just a 1-bedroom apartment in that upper part of the barn. That's my plan.
So Mr. Yerkin will testify to the floor plan, the layout, the rooms,
Yes.
and so forth. You're working off an existing building footprint and foundation, correct?
Yes.
Any changes?
No, the only difference in the footprint is that there was gonna be a little porch on one end. That was it.
And then in the context of this proposed renovation, are there any changes planned with respect to how the property is being maintained or farm use?
No, still farm use. Horses, I have horses, they would go there.
And it's QSS, correct?
Yes.
Farmlands nest.
Yes.
And based upon these changes, you're familiar with the area, would any neighboring residents really be able to see this clearly? Can you just describe generally how far this is back, what the configuration and orientation is?
And orientation.
Orientation with regard to what you can see from the roadway.
You really can't see much from the roadway. The property that is on the rear side of that barn is another farm that's on Flemington Locktown Road. They can't see at all the barn. And on either end, no one can see. I mean, it's in the middle of that 42 acres. No one can see.
Okay, and how is it accessed? Is there an entrance drive?
One driveway in
And what's the composition of that?
gravel.
Anything else that you would want to present or discuss, highlight for the board?
Not that I can think of.
Thank you. Any questions from the board?
I think not, unless I'm inclined to hear the rest of the application first.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We call Ted Bear.
Do you solemnly swear that testimony about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you
Yes,
God?
I do.
So your name and spell it.
My name is Theodore Bayer. Last name is spelled B-A-Y-E-R.
You may proceed.
Mr. Barrett, let me first qualify you as an expert witness. Would you review briefly with the board your educational background?
I'm a graduate of Rutgers University College of Engineering. I hold a degree in agricultural and biological engineering. I've been a licensed professional engineer in the state of New Jersey since 1988. I've appeared before many planning boards and zoning boards. And I've been before this board. My partner Steve Reese was here when the subdivision was completed. But I've been before the Delaware Township Zoning Board of Adjustment, Delaware Township Board of Health. I was the Lebanon Township Planning Board Engineer, Zoning Board Engineer, and Township Engineer
I think
for many years. So,
wonderful.
Thank you.
thank you.
Could you review with the board the site plan, Mr. Barrett?
Okay, so this is a minor site plan for the lands of Neil and Belinda Overman. It consists of 5 sheets. The date on it is September 4th, 2025. It's revised through January 15th of 2026.
And the property is in the A2 zone. Are you familiar with the zoning ordinance requirements pertinent to that?
Yes, I am.
Can you discuss the bulk requirements and this application?
Okay, I'll flip over to sheet 2 of the site plan, and this is the same set of plans that the board has. So. I forgot to bring an easel, so I apologize for that. Okay, sheet 2 does show the bulk requirements, and so we actually have them broken out into 3 separate sections. One is for the lot dimensions itself. The lot area, the minimum area in the A2 zone is 6 acres, and as Mr. Scholl testified, we have 42.5 acres. So we're well within that. The lot area, the lot width is 250 feet. We have 916 feet. The lot depth is 400 feet. We have 1,390 feet. The lot coverage maximum is 10%. Ms. Overman testified the existing development on the property consists of the four-bedroom house, the existing barn, existing pole barn, and the driveway. So currently, the lot coverage is 1.09%, well under the 10% that's allowable. Under the proposed improvements, it's going to be 1.13%, again, well within the zoning requirement. The principal dwelling that's there now, 4-bedroom, your zoning ordinance for the front yard, the side yard, and the rear yard, respectively, is 50, 50, and 100 feet. The existing residence is at a front yard setback of 929 feet, side yard setback of 677 feet, and a rear yard setback of 376 feet. Again, well within the zoning limitations. The existing barn, which is the subject of this application, our zoning table is wrong, as Mr. Dickerson pointed out, because it's being considered a second principal structure. The ordinance requirements are, again, 50-foot front, 50-foot side, 100-foot rear, and we are 803 feet for the front yard setback, 682 feet for a side yard setback, and 384 feet for a rear yard setback. Again, farms. So we've been put together. I've got a permit to build for a new horse farm last year. That's considered the accessory structure. That's identified as the pole barn on here. Our zoning table identified front, rear, and side yard setbacks of 50 feet. Mr. Dickerson pointed out in his memo that because the farm structure, agricultural structure should be 75, 75, 75 for front, rear, and side, respectively. But that building also is a front yard setback of 697, a side yard setback of 579, and a rear yard setback of 480. So all 3 structures are in full compliance with the zoning setbacks requirement. And as Ms. Overman testified, it's really dead smack in the middle of the property, and it's well obscured from the neighboring properties.
And why don't we review Mr. Dickerson's report and the provisions of that?
Okay, Okay, this is Mr. Dickens' memo dated January 20th, 2026. He identifies the application itself. His comments and recommendations start on page 3 of 4. The first item is 2 of the 5 requirements for the proposed second principal dwelling are outstanding. Number 1 is that the applicant shall submit a grading and stormwater management plan for review by the township engineer. That actually on sheet 3 of our site plan, which is actually a bigger scale drawing of the area around the barn proposed improvement. We show on there a series of dry wells and a manifold system to collect any runoff from the roof. That manifold system will direct everything into the dry wells and it will percolate into the ground. The amount of improvements on this site does not rise to the level of a major stormwater project, which I'm sure everybody knows it by heart, at least I do. A quarter of an acre of new impervious coverage or an acre of disturbance, and we are well underneath that. Our new impervious coverage is at least 600 and change square feet. Our area disturbance is about 20,000 square feet, so it's less than that. So that grading drainage plan on the contents on sheet 3 would be available for Mr. Newski engineer to review. The second item in item number 1 of Nick Dickerson's memo is that the proposed septic system requires approval from the Delaware Township Board of Health. We actually have a septic system design that's pending before the Hunterdon County Health Department right now. And we had originally gotten the design approved by the County Health Department before our application was amended. When the decision was made to go with 2 separate principal uses, that triggers the need for a separate well and a separate septic system for each of those principal dwellings. So the existing 4-bedroom home has an existing septic system and a dedicated well. So we actually show, and I'm referring to sheet 3 still, a well proposed on the south side of the building and septic tank and pump tank, which will convey sewage from the structure out to the disposal field. The disposal field is on the eastern part of the property, and that septic system that was, those soil tests were actually conducted at the time of the subdivision back in before 2013 when that was approved. So that septic design was initially submitted to the County Health Department earlier this last fall. It's approved, but it's been amended and it's still pending review by the County Health Department right now. We resubmitted that to them, I believe, on January 26th. So they're still looking at it.
So we would look to have that as a condition of approval?
Yes. Then the second item is Mr. Yeah.
What's the condition?
I'll condition that the Hunterdon County Health Department review and approve the septic system design. And I don't see any problem with that.
Mr. Baker, just to close the septic system, do we believe everything in terms of the design for the septic, siting of the septic, and the soil test results would all be conforming with the current regulations?
Yes,
The
absolutely.
County Health Department has?
Yes. Again, the County Health Department actually issued an approval for the septic system. And we're going to have a single system for the 4-bedroom house and for the barn. So we're just modifying that now. It's
It's a similar system, but just a certain.
exactly. Any other questions? Okay. So the second comment in Mr. Dickerson's memo is that the bulk requirement table, which was back on sheet 2, says the principal dwelling to be removed. That's an oversight on our part. On sheet 2 of the plan, it says the plan itself, the existing dwelling to remain. We forgot to change that on the table when we revised the plans to show the amended application. So we have no problem changing that table. Item 3, the checklist indicates floodplains shown separately were submitted. There were no maps delineated on the application package. Again, we went and went to the firm maps and made a firm map for for the property. I'll go back to sheet 1 on the drawings. Loptown School Road generally runs east to west. On the north side of Loptown School is the main stem of the Wickichioka Creek. However, that is almost 900 feet from the property line against Loptown School, where the barn is located back in the property. The Wickichioka is 1,790 feet, I believe, from the creek. So we couldn't make a permit that would show that because there's no impact. Likewise, on the south side of the property and to the southwest of the property, there's a couple of unnamed tributaries to the Wickichioka. They are respectively, the one to the south is 890 feet from the barn, and the one to the southwest is, I believe, 800 feet. So none of these streams are going to have a floodplain that's going to be associated with the property. So we should have checked on the checklist, not applicable, rather than saying we were going to submit those maps. But again, that's honest. Number 4.
I'm sorry, so basically you're saying for number 3, you don't need to submit the floodplains for review or request a waiver because they're just too far away.
They're too far away, exactly.
It's not,
That's correct. Not applicable.
Dick, do you agree with that?
Sorry, say that again?
For number 3 on your...
That they submitted a permit instead?
They're saying that they don't need to submit because the rivers and tributaries are just too far away. So this should be not applicable.
From my perspective, I have no objection there.
Okay. Right.
Thank you. Number 4, again, relates to the zoning table on sheet 2 of our site plan. And again, it's with the second principal residence. The actual setbacks should be identified as front, side, and rear being 50, 50, and 100. Right now, they say 50, 50, 50. So again, we can amend that table to show compliance. And as I said earlier, we're well outside of those limits. The same number 5 footnote T of our table indicates it's an accessory structure for that pole barn. However, as Mr. Nickerson pointed out, it's an agricultural purpose, and so the front, rear, and side setbacks apply are not 50, 50, 50 like identified in my table. They're 75, 75, 75. And again, we can change that table to demonstrate compliance. That testifies we do comply there. Number 6 in Ms. Nickerson's memo talks to the conservation easement. And there's a conservation easement that was prepared in compliance with the 2013 resolution. And I read that conservation easement, and it refers specifically to lots 5.01 and 5.02, which were the lots that were created in 2013. And that the easement for 5.01, which is the lot immediately to the west of us, and it actually says, this is the easement that was recorded, it says, beginning at a point at the intersection of lot 5 and lot 5.01, 25 feet off the center line of Loptown School Road, and running southwesterly along the road to the intersection of lot 5.01 and 5.02. And then the easement for the second lot, 502, starts at that point and runs southwest. And they all run to lot 4, I believe, which was Roger McCandless Lodge. So that conservation easement actually only refers to the 2 lots that were created. It doesn't extend to the frontage along Loptown School of this property. What that easement required was that no removal of vegetation, anything that would obscure, not obscure, allow sight lines into those properties. So I don't believe that contribution is applicable to this lot.
Nick, do you agree?
Sorry. I had just wanted the testimony on that just to understand and for the board to hear that. So
Detective?
Doesn't apply.
And the final comment was that the driveway surface should be identified. Right now, there's an existing gravel drive that comes in off Logtown School, travels to east generally parallel to the road and then bends south, and it's gravel all the way to the proposed barn we're going to be converting. We're going to remain as gravel with that. On sheet 3, which is the blow up of the area around the barn, it's only identified as an existing driveway, not existing gravel drive. So we could identify that as an existing gravel drive, so it's clear. And that's how we address the letter from the planner.
Thank you. By way of summary and overview, we're tracking section 230-17 of the ordinance. And we're looking at B1, which identifies permitted uses. We're focusing on a second principal dwelling on a tract of 30 acres or more, which is applicable here. We have a tract that's 42.5 acres. In turn, with respect to that, we're looking at the conditions imposed by the ordinance, which are recited in section 230-17.6, and Mr. Dickerson has very effectively incorporated that in his report, which we've now reviewed. That's essentially the summary.
Yes. Yes.
We hear all the blocks,
We adhere to all the bulk requirements, yes.
no variance really.
No variance really required.
And then just in closing and by way of summary, you're familiar with this area in the A2 zone?
Yes, I am. I've driven up and down Logtown School many times. I've actually designed several many septic systems on that road. And it's a rural agricultural road where Ms. Overman's farm is. There's hay fields, farm dwellings, similar. It's very rural agricultural, like most of Delaware Township, and this is completely in keeping with that concept.
Thank you. Nothing further.
I have just one item to add, Madam Chair. Just to speak to the driveway access onto Lockdown School Road, the township board, and the plan doesn't reflect this, but the township ordinance does require that driveway, and this driveway will be it will become less of a farm access and more of a residential access, should the application be approved. What I would ask as part of the conditions of approval, that the driveway be improved in accordance with the driveway ordinance, which would require that the existing gravel drive be paved for the first 25 feet with 2 inches of standard surface course asphalt. So that's in keeping with any other residential property in town. It's an ordinance requirement, so that would be my only sort of additional condition. And then I can also speak to the stormwater management design. I did review it prior to this hearing this evening, and Mr. Bayer did prepare a design for the dry wells that are shown on the plan, and they do conform to the minor stormwater requirements, which are 3 inches, basically 3 inches of runoff need to be retained from all roof area on the property, and that's what's been designed, and I can confirm that it conforms with the ordinance.
For the record, Ms. Overman, if you would accept and agree to that condition.
Yes, absolutely, yes.
Could you repeat again that second condition? We're supposed to comply with the driveway ordinance.
The driveway ordinance, and I'm just confirming that the dry wells as currently configured are conforming with the minor stormwater requirements of the Delaware Township ordinance.
It's not a condition.
It's not a condition, I'm just confirming. It's in my own statement to the board that it does conform with the ordinance.
Anything else? From an engineering perspective?
It's very little in terms of disturbance and grading occurring on the property. Certainly as the barn is developed into a home, and no doubt the Silverman will ensure that the area is well graded and protected from runoff and all that, which certainly you want to do.
Yes.
And certainly septic will be under the jurisdiction of the county health department. I have no input from that perspective.
If there's no questions from other board members, I will call Mr. Garrington.
Do we want to ask questions now or wait till we finish? Wait? Okay, we'll just wait until you're finished with the application.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
C.
Mr. Yarrington, if you would introduce yourself to the board, I would then proceed to qualify you as that.
Sure. Mark Yarrington, architect, YARRINGTO.
And you review with the board your educational background.
Let me start in first.
Oh, I'm sorry. Jump you down.
You solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give, give the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I have a degree from NJIT, 1979. On my own since '83, and worked primarily residential commercial work throughout New Jersey, licensed in New Jersey and Pennsylvania as well.
And have you appeared before boards in Montgomery, Somerset County, and been accepted as an expert?
Yes, several times. Not here yet, thank you. But
Thank you, Madam Chair. Were you retained by the board to undertake the preparation of architectural plans with respect to a proposed barn conversion?
yes.
And could you identify the plans you prepared and what you designed?
Sure. So the plans, which you've probably seen, prepared originally dated June 13th of last year, 2025, issued for zoning approval, review, and at that same date, in June 23rd of last year, we were asked to add the building height, which is compliant, and that was added. That's what you see here. On this sheet, we have front, I'll call it front view, faces north, faces Lockdown Road. The left side, which would face east. Second sheet, we have the south side and the west side. On the first floor, it's basically a two-story existing barn. First floor, we'll call it ground level, is a mudroom entry, a powder room, a small study, a garage storage area, and a utility room. So that's the ground floor. The main floor up above, we call the second floor, is an open plan kitchen, dining living area, a full bathroom, and a small laundry closet. And then we created a loft because it is a Dutch gambrel roof, very tall, lots of volume up in the upper portion at the east end. We created a small sleeping loft with just a closet and a powder room. Architecturally, to get it kind of all synced, we added windows on both sides, introducing some dormers, a cupola on top, which is actually open to the space down below, a covered porch on the north side, and that's about 350 square feet, and a small, relatively small deck on the west side of about 200 square feet. So the existing structure today, about 2,312 square feet, both floors combined. The living space, finished heated living space would be about 1,670 square feet.
And with regard to the building footprint, the foundation, if you could just highlight that.
Yeah, so the footprint, foundation about 24 by 48, it's not changing, aside from the little covered porch and the deck.
So essentially, you're retaining the existing walls.
Correct.
And could you just identify the efforts that were made to preserve the existing structure and to, I guess, lend harmony to the surrounding area?
Yeah, so again, the Dutch style gambrel roof wanted to maintain it in conjunction with getting some natural light in through windows. Structurally, it's a great structure, really. I don't want to be the framer, but it's, I think it would work out quite nicely. It continues to complement the property as well as the surrounding A2 district.
Thank you. Is there any additional information that you would identify for the board with respect to your proposed plan?
Let's talk a little bit.
Very good. Any questions from the board professionals?
Can you just describe a little bit about the materials?
Materials? Sure. So right now, the lower level is just concrete cinder block. We are introducing some stone at some of the lower level areas for the roofing. We're using a combination of asphalt shingles and what we call standing seam metal roofing, which I'm sure you're familiar with. On some of the sides, we're using some board and some shingle siding in kind of a blended combination.
Anyone? Are you all set?
I am, thank you.
Okay. Anyone from the board have any questions?
In total or just on this? Right.
Just general.
I had a question about the existing house on the property. Long-term plans, I know there's no plan to get rid of it as this is gonna be amended. Any plans to develop it at any point?
I don't have any plan at this point, other than I would not knock it, I don't have any plan to get rid of it.
And then you said you're bringing horses to the property.
Yes.
There aren't any animals on there currently, but you'll also continue to hay it?
Yes.
Okay. That's all I have for now. Thank you.
So the plan is to keep the house on the property, so that would mean you continue to keep it up somewhat, upgrade it, so it doesn't fall down.
Well, it's in very poor condition right now. I have been looking into renovating it, and it's difficult. I mean, the roof is falling in. So I've been trying to look into architecturally save it, if I could, but.
So if it can't be saved, would you then remove it in some fashion?
I guess if I were left with nothing else, and I'll do whatever. I'm really in favor of trying to keep the old. I love the old places. So if I can do anything with it, I would love that.
Anyone else?
You wanna see the EC report at some point? Or site by site?
I'm sorry, I just have, this is nothing for the applicant, but just for, our document here for the site review has 14 Locktown School Road. I don't believe that's the correct address.
14 is not. It's in the
Oh, it's 27.
Okay, thank you.
27.
Thank you.
Question, so if this is granted, the first, back in 2013, where it said no more development, that would still apply after you improve the law. Correct. It would run with the land.
The deed restriction would stay.
Any agricultural use?
Thomas, may I ask a question? I'm not a member of the board, but.
Yeah, sure.
I understand. Charlie asked a question that I was going to ask, but the second question to that is, does this new apartment now become the principal dwelling? That's a question for the planner.
I think it's two principal uses.
Planner, does that now become the principal dwelling? If the principal dwelling that's there now is uninhabitable and gets abandoned, does this now become the principal dwelling?
Well, actually, both of the structures are principal dwellings. That's part of the zoning process.
Okay,
And that's what's identified in the planners report, actually. So
Okay.
both.
So that, for the record,
Yes, they're both principal dwellings, that's correct.
And the second question on the new apartment, you said you're gonna put a cupola on top?
Yes.
How high is the total height of this?
That is on there.
Yeah, it's about,
Can I answer one question on that? I took that, the zoning officer. He read the whole story. Anyway, the cupola height does not interfere with the height requirement.
Okay, that's my question.
Yeah, and so that was all.
35 feet.
Yeah.
yeah, so the building's 28. The new cupola is not onto that, it's about 9 foot.
37.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the zoning officer, when I brought that in there, he had questioned that too.
Okay.
Whether the cupola was too high, and then he read the ordinance for it, and he said that in reading it, it said chimneys or cupolas are not considered in the height. The final height had to be the ground to the peak of the roof.
That was his interpretation?
That was what he read, he pulled it out and we read it together.
I have to remember that.
That it didn't count, that chimneys and cupolas did not count in the height part, even though, I mean, we don't have a cupola on it, right? So I would just make sure that
Because in my 40 years on the drug adjustment, I did not know that.
I don't know anything, so you're smarter than I am.
That's it, thank you.
Did you have an opportunity to see the site plan subdivision review committee report?
No.
Okay. Here. There are a couple of comments and recommendations. One of the things that we did discuss with the gentleman at the time the site visit was because of the location of the new septic field being in the middle of the trees, just be cognizant of the fact that we have a tree ordinance. And it did look like a couple of, probably maybe 6 or 8 of the trees.
Yeah, the trees would
Were
trigger,
of a sufficient caliber that.
right,
it
they
would
trigger the tree ordinance.
Tree ordinance. So just a heads up on that.
Yeah.
So, you'll need to comply with that.
There's a tree removal application.
Yes.
That has to be filed with the Public Works
Right.
Department. So when you pull building permits, you also have to file for tree removal.
Okay,
And if I'm not mistaken, we also, require native species.
Yes, the ordinance requires native species get planted.
Yes, we have no problem complying with the native species.
The one, I just gotta say, the one recommendation from the Environmental Commission was given that there is quite a bit of wet soils in that area. The ordinance just refers to the New Jersey Native Plant Society list for Hunterdon County
Yes.
to select your trees from. You might want to be cognizant, depending on where you're going to do the replanting,
Of the wet
that
area.
you pick, that you pick species that are gonna do well, whether you're in a dry or wet area. Just wanna be cognizant of that.
For clarification, it's the Hunterdon County native species. Delaware
It's,
County
well,
doesn't
it's,
have its own.
no, we would, for this particular ordinance, we refer, for the tree removal ordinance, we refer to the New Jersey's Native Plant Society's list for Hunterdon County.
We have no problem complying.
I'm doing the same thing Mr. Goodell is doing. So we're looking at a preliminary final minor site plan approval, but it's subject to the township driveway ordinance where the first 25 feet would be paved. It would be subject to Hunterdon County Health Department approval of the septic design. respect to tree removal that would need to be replanting in compliance with Hunterdon County, both the New Jersey native plant species list for Hunterdon County.
With the Delaware National.
Have to order, yeah, you have to get a permit, a permit's required,
There's a tree removal permit that's filed with the Department of Public Works.
and there's a fee associated with it as well.
So that would be filed concurrently with this.
Are there any other questions or comments from the board? Okay, I'll open this to the public for comments and questions from the public.
It's a great design.
Anyone from the public would like to speak, ask a question, or make a comment regarding this application? Okay, I'm going to assume that no one wants to comment on this particular application or ask any questions. And I will close the public portion of the this application. And I guess at this point we will deliberate a little.
Unless, Nick, have anything to say? Anything to add? Nick, any issues, concerns, questions?
At this point, originally this started out as a slightly more complicated application when it was coming before as a conditional use. Since then, they were able to adjust it so that it fell under the second permitted use, which, you know, most of actually all of our questions were answered. Other than any other issues relating to the prior approval, which I'll defer to you, I've got nothing else on my end.
I'm satisfied that Mr. Schultz showed us a way around that condition.
The further development
Right.
issue.
In other words,
Yeah.
the definition of development in the ordinance is, it's got two different definitions, one for agricultural property, and this is indeed agricultural property.
Yeah, no, I looked at that, and it makes a lot of sense to me that it is specifically agricultural lands, and it's set aside specifically in the ordinance, which tells me that it's intentional. So, anyone else? Any deliberation on this particular application? Is there maybe at this point a motion about this application?
For approval?
Whatever you want.
I'll move the application contingent upon, there was one,
Everything that you
Yes.
said.
yes. I'll move the application for approval with the contingencies that council has.
The conditions Mr. Schultz stated in the record and are in the professional's reports.
What he said.
Okay. All right, so we'll have a roll call vote, please.
Mayor Walton,
Yes.
McDaniel,
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Coffee,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Dolly,
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pat,
Yes.
and Chairperson Leslie.
Yes.
Thank you so much, thank you.
All right.
Madam Chair, Mr. Mayor, members of the board, thank you, and particularly Mr. Goodell, Mr. Dickerson,
Thank
Mr. Wisniewski, thank you for working through these various points. Exceedingly prompt and communicating very clear, and exceedingly helpful, thank you.
Wow, thanks.
All righty, moving right along. We're all the way up to committee reports, subdivision and site plan committee. Well, we don't need to tell you anything because you already saw our site plan
Except
inspection
for,
report.
it was 8 degrees and windy.
Yeah,
Traipsing through the fields.
yeah. We were following little fox trails.
Yes.
Trails.
Yes, Ms. Clinton took us on a scenic tour.
Yes, my bird identification. All right, so next is Ag Advisory Committee, Mr. Coffey.
Okay. We reorganized, Christian Bench is still chair. And there's some discussion that NJ Conservation Initiative on Thursday Road, but the one, the property that is supposed to be like people who want to farm and are given a chance. Some discussion regarding the toll property. There's been some contact with them about preservation. There was discussion around there was a sign posted down there. One of the Bodine farms that had a listing for sale. Evidently, that listing for sale is on West's property, formerly West Bodines, which is preserved already. So that property sign, from what we understand, is for the reserve farm already. And waiting for minutes on that.
Alrighty then. Next is Open Space Committee. That would be you again.
Jackie, anyway, Jackie discussed the properties in preservation that are in the pipeline. County level, most of those are in direct easement. And discussed the outreach program and related postcards, and discussion of the Open Space Explorers Club.
Okay. Next on the agenda is Master Plan Committee. I think we're taking a breather on the master plan, but I did neglect to include under correspondence just a quick heads up that we should be thinking about our budget. Susanna did include a little spreadsheet for us, perhaps to take it up at the next meeting, and we'll take a look at it, have some, bring your ideas to the next meeting as to what you think is an appropriate budget. We obviously went over this past year, although it was unfortunately required due to state laws. But let's just all think about that for the next meeting, because your budget meeting can be touched as well. Oh, it is?
They'll be right.
Yeah. Okay, so let's all make sure that we'll put that right at the top of the agenda.
Okay.
Yeah, if you could think about what projects you want to do.
Yeah.
How that would
Yeah.
Commercial zone.
Yes. Yeah. And we'll talk about that. Okay, so I think that's it for the master plan committee right now. Ordinance review committee.
Do we want to go over the accessory building
Yes.
now? Do it at this point?
Yes?
Thank you, Mr. Goodell, for the accessory building ordinance. I had a couple of questions. Okay, you ready? Okay. I just wanted clarification. This is on the second page under C, number 2. I just want to make sure.
E4C2.
Yeah. E4, second page C, under C. It says lots greater than or equal to 3 acres up to 10 acres. And I just want to make sure that up to is not including 10. When I read up to, I think it includes 10, but it's not, it's supposed to be less than 10.
Okay, whatever's there, we just took straight from the memo. So, did the announce it?
No, I used signs. I used,
Okay, we We don't want to use signs.
I know, but that's what I did, so.
Okay, so what was the intent?
The intent was less than, so though I have it, or not I, the board, we wrote, where am I, sorry, lots greater than greater than or equal to 3 acres. Oh, I do have up to less than 10 acres. So that's what we're missing is the less than 10 acres.
Okay, so 10 acres is just, we don't want to do 10 acres.
We don't want it to be correct. Because the next item down, 3, lots greater than or equal to 10 acres.
Okay, but number 1 says lots less than 3 acres, and number 3 says lots greater than or equal to 10 acres.
What's
So
your
then-
10.000 acres?
Yeah, I think what we need to say is,
Picture in another bracket.
number 2 should say lots, equal to 3 acres.
Less than 10.
But less than 10.
But less than 10, yes. Thank you.
Yeah, so if you're 9.999.
You're good, yeah, but you can't be 10, because 10 is the next category, okay.
Well, people would want to be considered 10 so they can get a bigger book.
Right, but. So that was one change, and,
Not for nothing, I would say lots equal to or greater than.
lots,
Right, rather than saying lots greater than or equal to.
Correct.
Say lots
Equal to or greater than, it just,
okay.
Can you write those down? Can I give you yours?
got it.
Could I ask a quick question?
Yes.
Just in general, I know this is referring to zones A1 and A2.
Mm-hmm.
That is only residential. It does not include agricultural.
Correct,
Okay, thank you.
yes, this is only residentially
Zone.
zoned,
Okay,
agricultural are not covered by signs.
perfect, thank you.
And then my next comment is under D,
I'll do the same thing.
yep, where it says, buildings that are greater than 500, but less than 1,000, the size is actually inclusive of 1,000. Oops, maybe not, hang on, A1. No, yeah, less than or equal to, so we want to include 1,000. So this would be up to, or up to and including 1,000 feet, not less than. And then number 2, lots greater than or equal to, I guess you gotta get your words there as well, Ms. Wordsmith. Same thing, we'll use the but less than 10 acres.
Okay, so under number 2, it's greater than 500, but less than 1,200, or is it in greater than 500?
And up to 1,200. And then the same thing for number 3, greater than 500 and up to 2,000 square feet. So we're including that number. And then the exact same changes when you flip the page and you're now on, where are we? 4, under section 2, down at B, 3B, or 3C, sorry. The same thing, lots greater than or equal to 3 acres, you want to do your little wordsmithing. And then up to 10 acres, we want to say, whatever we said, but less than 10 acres. And then same thing, mimicking what we did when you go down to D, D1, same thing, greater than 500 and up to 1,000 feet. And under D2, greater, equal to or greater than 3 acres, but less than 10 acres, so that same change.
Yep.
And the same thing with greater than 500 and up to 1,200 square feet.
Yep.
And same thing with C, 500 and up to 2,000. And then, no, that's not it. Sorry.
No, I
These are the
said got it.
recommendations of
Got it.
the ordinance review committee?
I'm sorry, what?
There are changes that we're making on the recommendations of the.
No, this actually came from it was initially from the ordinance review committee, and at our November meeting, the full board reviewed, and we had a draft memo that the board approved
The board
to send to Steve to do the ordinance. And then on the last, or I should say the last page, you were talking, covering the changes to the attachments, attachment 1 and attachment 2. And our memo had a note about needing to update for both attachment 1 and attachment 2, that footnote 8, existing footnote 8, needs to be updated, because if you look at footnote 8 on the table or the attachment, it has the setbacks are determined by the size of the accessory building, and then it has less than or equal to 500 square feet. I guess it is right. Is a 10-foot setback, and greater than 500, oh, that's where it is. Greater than 500 square feet up to 900 square feet requires a 50-foot setback. Or remember now, we're doing 900, we're doing 1,000, we're doing 1,200, and we're doing 2,000. So we still need to update footnote 8 for both attachment 1 and attachment 2. And that's all I had.
Okay, so why don't I make those changes? I can distribute it to the full board by email. But Kathy and Roz, why don't you guys look at it carefully? If you agree with it, then it can go straight to the township. You don't have to come back here.
Agreed.
One thing I might just chime in here, since, we're talking about an ordinance before the planning board. There is a recommendation in the 2022 re-exam to explore a sliding scale for accessory structure size. So I would note that this effort is advancing that goal. So.
Do we put that in the ordinance, or do we just stage that up for when we re-exam again?
No, you can take it away as clause.
Okay.
So I can put that in an email and send it to you.
I don't think he heard you. Nick?
What's that? Yeah, sorry, the audio, yeah.
Can you put what you just said in email to Steve?
Certainly.
So that he can, include a whereas clause that says, this is in furtherance of the 2022 master plan revisited.
Will do.
Will this ordinance have to return to the board for consistency review?
Always does.
It will,
Yeah.
okay. So sort of already be baked into the ordinance.
Right. It'll be a quick review.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else on this? Any other comments from the ordinance review? I know you had your hands full with this and with the animal, you're gonna work on the animal.
Well, speaking of animal, Diane, you said animal and she talks. I'd say Diane and Jamie, when we're done, if we could just do a little confer to go over meeting dates. Because I need to get, the little breakdown in the emails. We were talking Tuesday and then you threw Thursdays in, so we're all confused now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
No problem.
Heidi went, Kathy, figure it out.
Understood.
Since I'll see you tonight, so.
It's probably my fault.
Thursday works,
Yeah.
it's okay.
So animal, we're hoping to meet, this February,
Excellent.
once we figure out who's on first.
We're
Excellent, thank you. All right, Quarry Compliance Committee, Mr. Bilkey, your first report.
Well, yeah, I saw that report. I didn't notice anything remarkable about it. It was the first time I've ever looked at anything like that, though. So I think that someone else might have more to say about it.
Yeah, what the report that Tim's referring to is their application, their annual submittal review form,
Okay.
was due, the 31st of January. It came in. The, town clerk, Diana, already did her administrative completeness review, deemed it complete. So then she circulated it to the Quarry Compliance Committee. And as Tim, thank you for reviewing it. I'm impressed. They're basically doing, no operations this year, no reclamation activities, no operations, pretty much quiet.
All right.
For how much longer? Who knows?
They don't know either.
Oh, I know.
taking pretty much all the equipment out of the site. There's nothing much left there, except for some old Mack trucks that are in the 1930s, but otherwise there's like nothing there.
Yeah. Which is very interesting, because initially when Moore Station down on Titusville was closing, the old owners of Trap Rock, now it's mainly owned by Tilcon, the Stavola family, they originally were going to move their operations up here in 2023 when Moore Station closed. And evidently that's changed.
Yeah. They don't have a horizon for when they're gonna.
No.
That was a several year battle.
All right. Stormwater Management Committee, Mr. Miller is not here. So we'll table that. And Zone Change Committee. This is an appropriate time, I think, to discuss initially that we need to understand the budget for this, right? So Diane, what do you explain?
So I think we solved the problem.
Yeah, so, Mr. Shaw has requested a zone change for his property. Nick did a preliminary review, and we talked about it late last year. As we move forward, it became very clear that we don't have either escrows that he's given us to continue studying, or an ordinance that would require those escrows, because this is not an application for development. Land use law says, escrows for applications for development. He's asking for his own change. So, we got together last week, strategy. The strategy was essentially, I said, hey, you want to give us an escrow? We'll keep looking at this. And he said, yeah, sure. How much do you need? So we're going to get back to him. My thought is we invite him to the next meeting so that Mr. Shaw and his attorney can say why they think the zone change is appropriate. We need to have that meeting covered by the escrow. And then Nick can take it from there, take the information that they provide for us, the information he knows about the master plan, write a report, and make a recommendation. And then you can make a decision. Yes, it's a go. No, it's not a go. And if the answer is no, it's relief would be before the zoning board for use variance.
Quick question, just gonna be looking at just his parcel or looking at a broader area on Route 12?
Interesting question. All he cares about is his property.
True, yes.
But clearly there are other properties adjacent, and if his property is going to be rezoned, it may be worth rezoning the others as well.
And I think that just for the record, some of the, part of what we were struggling with a little bit is that the master plan does have, does indicate that we should be looking at this.
To solve the commercial
To
zone,
some
yeah.
extent, it's our obligation versus, his request. It's a little bit of both, so I think we struggle with that.
Yeah, but that's always at your discretion.
Yeah, understood, but I think, just for the record, why we have spent any time at all on it, as the question is, because it is something that is contemplated by the master plan. Alrighty, liaison reports, Mr. Klein.
January, we had a reorganization, that's all we had. We had no applications in January. We have one application coming up next week. It's for the old Maresca market down here. They've made some improvements and they needed a variance prior to it. So we're going to hear why they did it and see what we're going to do after that. And then at that point, we don't have another application that I know of.
Okay, alright, Environmental Commission.
Yeah, we also had our reorganization meeting, and the only items that were discussed that came up is there is I'm not sure if anyone knows, I had forwarded it to Patrick. Rutgers is holding a 10-week, or actually it's 10-course training, online training, 2-hour training every other Friday for their, what they call their program, their 2026 Green Infrastructure Champion Training Program, which is focusing on stormwater management ways to handle stormwater. I've already attended the first 2 training sessions. I've gotten, if anyone's interested, I did, because I attended them, they sent me the PDFs of the presentations as well as the link for the actual recorded section. I'd be more than happy to share that. So we talked about getting some more members, even with the Stormwater Committee. Ms. Sulaka was going to take it back to the Stormwater Committee because, again, it's good information. One of the sessions that I brought, and I even shared it with Gary Hinesley as well. I sent him the information because one of the sessions actually deals with grants for stormwater management. So, and they actually, Rutgers assists with the grants if you are, are qualifying for this course. You'd have to go to 5 sessions in order to get certified. So we talked about that. And the other item is just an update. The Environmental Commission we're almost done with our recommended changes to the conservation easement deed notice. So almost as long as the accessory building, but we hope to have that back to the ordinance. We had discussed taking it to the ordinance review subcommittee first before it comes back to the full board. So be looking for that in the spring. One more kick in the can. And that was pretty much it. And the other item was we just updated the township website for the Environmental Commission page with the results from the 2025 well testing program. So the results of how many people sampled, what results failed, is all now on the website. And that is it.
I will do the minutes for copy.
It's not really an education, local public education and outreach. There's points for the stormwater permit, tier A stormwater permit. But really, anything that the environmental commission does, including, if there's a community day, if there's a display related to environment or stormwater, that would count. But training specific wouldn't count towards the overall township plans.
Although they do, there's courses, does talk about doing training to teach us to do courses for your municipality, as in rain barrel, a class for rain barrel for the township residents.
That would count if you have an event like that.
Yes, that would count. That's where I was just going with that.
Right, yeah.
So they are trying to give you the tools in order to do stuff. So I was trying to share.
All righty. Shade Tree Commission, Mr. Coffey, you're on the docket here.
Yeah, we have reorganized Bob Hornby as chair again. And then we discussed the core training, which is one way to get certification for shade tree stuff. As far as I can tell. And we discussed the purchase of trees for the Arbor Day.
And last but not least, Board of Education.
Actually, nothing for board this time. Our next meeting is on the 17th.
Okay, all right. I will open the meeting to the public for comments and questions. Anyone from the public have any comments or questions for us? No? Okay, I'm assuming then you're just here observing. I'm going to close the public portion and move on to board member comments and questions. Let's start with you, Jim. Any comments or questions?
No?
All right, Mark?
Nope, I have none either.
Kathy?
None for me.
I don't have anything. Thank you.
Yeah. Larry?
No.
Diane? All right. Oh, and Belinda?
Yeah.
All right. I don't think I have anything other than, let's see, our next meeting is March 3rd. So I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.